baseball Hall of Fame coins that were coming out in 2014, we try to be a little innovative here at Regency Mint, Quality Silver Bullion, and we thought, hey, wouldn't that be great if we could see if we could do that. I know that the Australian Mint helped out the US Mint to figure out how to do this. So we like to experiment with things and try new things here, and I thought, well, let's see if we can do this as long as it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and we can do these in a way that makes them affordable and won't put us in the hole too badly. So we had some meetings and we talked about what needed to be done and decided to do some experimenting and went from there. How hard was it to do this? A lot of people wonder, well, gosh, there's got to be a lot of steps to this, as far as molding the blanks to be able to fit into the press. And I'm not going to give away a lot of the things that we learned doing this. There are some things that work and there are some things that don't. The first trial that we did, we broke a die after about 80 strikes. So if you want to make something affordable, you can't do that. Dies are not cheap, and so we're able to make a few modifications to that. I was able to engrave a new die that we were able to do this with. How hard is it? You don't know how hard it is until you try it. And there's some things we're still learning about this, but we've been very successful with what we tried to do. I love the quote. It's from Charles Colton. He says, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. We're not trying to copy these, but it's such a great design that Cassie McFarlane came up with, which is why it was chosen. It's very simple. And are we trying to counterfeit or copy? Well, they're not counterfeits because they actually say 1 ounce of silver. They're not $1. There are differences, so you can look at it and know. But as she's shown, they're the Buffalo nickel, the Walking Liberty $50, the Walking Liberty from St. Cotton's from the $20 gold piece. Those have all been used by other mints, and including the U.S. Mint, the American Silver Eagle and the American Gold Eagle. Those designs are copied from coins that came out in the early 1900s. So even the U.S. Mint has reused designs, and that's a way. If you find something that's a classic and is innovative and beautiful, why not use it? It's like Ford coming out with the Mustang that came out in 1965, and then in the early 2000s thought, hey, let's take the old Mustang design and change a little bit, but use it. And then Chevy said, hey, the Camaro, that was a great looking car, let's do that. So there's always something that's there that's been done before. And this is just an innovation of that. And if anybody has an idea of something that would look cool or great, hey, let's give it a try. That's what we're here for. So I'll show you. You'll see these, the baseball coin itself, and then the round that we're able to do from it. We didn't try to do it exactly like the dollar. We wanted there to be some differences, but we wanted to be close enough that people would know that they are very similar. The baseball coins have been very popular and the price has skyrocketed, and this is a way to make it affordable for people who didn't know about them when they first came out. They can be able to get one. The very first one that we did, I tried to make it a little different. I made the baseball mint look more like a real mint, and I also changed the way that the strings were on there, and I cut the lettering in straight in, so it's very, very high relief. Makes it a little harder to strike, and that's also one of the things that made it hard on the dies. So then next we thought, well, let's make it look more like the design that was there, and so it is like it, but instead of the lettering being in cuse, like on the dollar where it's sunk in, it's actually raised on ours. So that's the difference in it too. Ours is a 39 millimeter, 1 ounce of silver. The U.S. Mint silver dollar is 38.1 millimeters, and it only has about 3/4 of an ounce of silver. So it's a lighter coin. The diameter is different, but the curvature is the same. And we were actually able to get them to fit into an ANACS holder, and one of the vice presidents at ANACS even said that our rounds fit just like a glove, and pun intended, that it is a compliment that we were able to do this in a way that it actually can be put into a certified slab. So these will be able to be encapsulated and graded if wanted from ANACS. Our first prototypes that we did, they came out, we got them out just in time for the Long Beach show in June of 2014. So we imprinted the edges so it said 2014 Long Beach, and then below we numbered them. And we were able to do 55 pieces before the die started cracking. It cracked very quickly, and then we were able to do 18 more pieces until the die was unusable. We weren't able to push the struck metals out of the collar. So we retired the die, so there was 18, so 55 and 18 made 73 pieces. And they're numbered separately, so you can tell whether a piece is a regular strike or if it's from the cracked dies. And the numbered cracked dies are in the progression of when the crack started and then finished. And then we have sold the die to a gentleman in Austria, an engineer that was very interested in it. So there won't be any more struck from that. So the new ones that we have, we're using the very first mitt that we came up with, and then we had that earlier design, and now we're using that same mitt that we used on the first ones, but the reverse is different. And then what we did too is we're not going to date these dies, but I put a little XIV for 14, which is 2014, similar to what the Canadian Mint does on the maple leaves. On the silver maple leaves, they have a maple leaf with a number 14 that's there. And so we'll know that this die was engraved and used and started into production in 2014. When this die is no longer serviceable, then we will put whatever number it would be. If it happens next year, we'll have an XV, or in 16 an XBI, and so on. So in a way they are dated, but they won't have the date there. So it's something that we can use and people could buy for different years and not have to worry about whether the date coincided with an event of, say, when a grandson's baseball team won the league championship. So we have other things in the works for this. Baseball isn't the only sport out there, so we have other things that we're going to be working on, and they're different denominations. So we hope to have this something that will honor a lot of different sports, and people will be able to have something that they can put together as a collection or individually. Grandparents can get for their grandkids. People who collect different sport things can have that and to go along with their other items. And they'll be priced in a way where there really won't be too much higher than what you're paying for silver bullion pieces. So even if you just wanted them for the silver, the intrinsic values will be there, and you're not paying a big premium for something that's innovative and different.